Welcome back to Crystal Clear Coaching. You're here with Crystal Tottenham. That is me. I am here. Um, we are on the 3rd of April today. And I started this channel to help you tune into you. And I do that through discussing different ways of how our brains, our bodies, our energy fields work. Uh, from what I've learned as a coach, but also just as a human being that has traveled the world and done many personal development things and read a lot of books and just kind of a nerd for this work. And I share a lot of what I am going through and how I tune into me. And never coming from a high horse too, because I know it can become intimidating if you're learning from someone, you're inspired by someone, and then you just feel like the gap between where you are and where you'd like to be, um, that's and the way that's inspired by maybe partially that person. Um, Sometimes the gap feels too big and it becomes overwhelming, and then you just start wanting to tune out because it feels too hard. So I'm blatantly honest, probably too honest about what's going on for me and how I know lots of good things, and also struggle to uh, show up for doing those small things, and creating good routines for myself. Doesn't mean that I haven't got lots to share though. So yeah, by sharing what I'm going through and what I'm tuning into with myself, um, hopefully that will open a door for you to see facets of your life, brain, energy system, um, in different ways from a different perspective that might give you just that little nugget or big nugget that helps you unblock something that is holding you back from your dreams. So we'd love that for you. I often go around, day-to-day life, and um, part of me just assumes everyone else has done a ton of work on themselves too. Um, and I have to remind myself that's not always the case, and not coming from any egoic standpoint here. I just have spent a lot of time delving into my psyche, delving into my energy and how I show up and my patterns, and learning all about it, holding space for others, knowing that most of us, if not all, honestly, I think all of us as human beings, we have our things that we struggle with. Like, it's just part of the human experience. Anyone that says otherwise, uh, they're probably willfully ignorant, and that's their prerogative to be, because they are just happy coasting along, however they've been coasting. And there might come a day that that changes for them, and there might not. Um, but my point is, we all have things that we struggle with. We all have moments we wish we'd acted in a different way, moments that we wish didn't happen, where something external happened to us and we have trauma that came from that. But also we might have done the work to understand, like, how we can take that horrible situation and shift it for in our brains so that we can move forward and not block ourselves from what's important to us. If you know it's something that just doesn't feel safe to our systems because of said trauma or said traumas. Um, and like, that's part of what I love about reading like fiction character stories, is hearing that inner monologue that you just like you just don't know what people are going through, that you're walking, you might see someone daily, at work, and you just don't know what's going on for them. Like even if they're pretty good on putting on a smile every day, and like they um are generally a pretty together person, you just don't know that maybe a friend of theirs just passed away, or they are not speaking to a family member, or um yeah, insert any multitude of things here that might be a hard moment for them. But it doesn't also mean that there aren't good moments happening for them um, in the same kind of pocket of time. And the highs and lows are never necessarily so far apart from each other. I mean, kind of thank God for that too, because we wouldn't, if we just had all the bad, sad feelings and there was no light moments of laughter, or a silly meme that you saw that just got you going, and or like a good moment, a good hug from a friend, like then it would be, it would feel very hopeless. um Whereas you can be deeply grieving something, or getting over a breakup, or something you thought was going to be something that wasn't, and you can also be having some of the funnest experiences of your life, because maybe you went to a couple of concerts of your favorite bands in that time, and you had a ball, and you had good friends with you, and it just like everything just kind of vibed. And even though you were kind of sad over that time, you're also super happy, like enjoying that experience and the multitude of experiences. So, like, yay for that polarity, and that things can coexist like that. But also, like, I always invite people to feel your feelings when they come up at the earliest opportunity. Sometimes you might be at work and you just need to soldier on through, but at your first available opportunity, you can spend a bit of time with yourself, and it shouldn't even need to be that long. Like if you need 5 or 10 minutes, honestly, sometimes a couple of minutes might do it. Depends what you're going through and how fresh it is and how much integration is needed. But that can be a start. Just like if you need to cry and you're trying to hold it back. I mean, I honestly think if if you need to cry, just cry. But yeah, sometimes there'll be moments you're like, okay, I just need to step up back, and yeah, hand off to your colleague if you are at work, or if you need to, or if you're, you know, in public where you have to keep a brave face on. But yeah, your feelings are coming up to teach you something, and they need to be released. So, um, yeah, if you don't release them, then you'll trap that energy in your soma, and you could hold on to that for days, weeks, months, even years, even decades, and that will become a dis-ease in your body. So I don't want that for you. So yeah, we gotta find healthy ways of releasing our emotions. Yeah. Um, yeah, so you never know what anyone's going through. You also don't know their perspective of, how they view of how they were raised. Like their brother or sister might not know their perspective and how they coded things. They might have an idea or an inkling if they're a perceptive person, because they saw how that person reacted to life in good and bad ways. But you just can't know what that person made all these tiny little meanings about how their parents did or did not show up, how their siblings did not show up, how their teachers, their classmates, their friends, whatever is in their life at the time, um, and then yeah, then they're forming their worldview. Um, when we're younger, and like, I mean, obviously, and we're older too, but yeah, really formative years, you're forming your worldview. And maybe it's that you had a beautiful, loving family and you grew up like wanting for nothing, and you still went to school, felt bullied, and that made you feel worthless. And so those bullies still play in your head as a, 37-year-old woman, that you're not good enough to go for what you want. And so this bully that was probably, you know, 7 years old when they bullied you, or maybe 12 or 16, whatever it is for you, who's a completely different human being at this point, all growing up, if they're still, around. They, that was a moment probably of them being a hurt person for some other reason, and they were hurting people, or they just thought it was how to show up to be cool and try and stay in love and belonging with the cool kids, the group that they needed to survive, needed to be in that, however they coded it, those dynamics, that those friendship relationships between, you know, the kids at school. And meanwhile, you were just the either forgotten or the bullied person that got hurt because somebody else was hurt or was trying to avoid being hurt. Um, and you could make that mean that you're worthless your entire life if you never bring it to conscious light. And so, whenever you go for something new that you're excited about, that little part of you that's actually coming from a loving place says, "Oh, hey, that's really not safe, because remember that time way back when?" Like, you don't even need to remember the experience itself. You just have the feeling of it. You have this kind of gut feeling about it, whether you remember many of the details or not. It's what's felt in your energy field. Like, if it's still there, it's still affecting you. And if you get this kind of maybe a clutch in your heart, or you're just like a lump in your throat when you think about going for what you want, it's just good to feel into, what is this telling me? What part of me is coming out here? When was this part created? If this part was created, when you were a kid, for instance, from a bullying situation, it, like, you just keep having a conversation with curiosity with this part of yourself to say, "Hey, what are you doing here? Why did you come up when I tried to go for this thing? Um, how can we um help you feel comfortable to still go for the thing, even though we know that it's scary for you? But also, how can we love and appreciate that part, because it is doing what it from its perspective is the best, highest loving thing for you, to have you uh, survive and stay in love and belonging in whatever way it's coded it. And maybe it's coded that you have to feel worthless in order to keep your head down enough that you don't get bullied. And if you just believe you're worthless too, then you that the bullies, they'll just tell you something you already know, and you can nod along with them, and you can just, and you survive that way, because if you're not fighting them on it, maybe they'll just lose interest, or maybe the first one did, or whatever it is, however it's landed for you. Or sometimes, so sometimes it's, maybe you'll resonate more with the word deserving, or not feeling deserving, um, or you'll have an abandonment wound where you're just petrified of people or things leaving, you. And sometimes that can show in a way where you leave first. You leave first because then no one can abandon you, even though you've already abandoned them. Um, which your brain doesn't quite get that far. Um, and again, it's all loving. Your brain is just trying to love you in the only way it knows how, the way that you're coded through your life experiences. So if you want to change your perspective there to actually notice when you're going for something that you really want and when it feels unsafe to the subconscious because you've coded something from past information that felt like survival to your system at the time, we've got to be willing to like look at it consciously and notice when those uncomfortable feelings come up and choose again and again and again and again to still take the uncomfortable action towards what we actually want, towards that desire, that dream. I hope this is making sense. I feel like I'm covering a lot here. But you are inherently worthy. You were born worthy. You don't need to do anything to be worthy. You don't need to tick off a to-do list of accomplishments to be worthy. You get to choose to feel worthy. And maybe they'll be really hard at first because you've never felt worthy for a second in your life. And the fact that you can choose this is maybe news to you right now. And it's confronting as hell. But maybe you've already kind of been learning this and you're like, okay, yeah, okay, I have to notice when something comes up for me, when I feel like tight feelings coming up in my body, in my brain, and take that feedback and say, well, something in my system feels uncomfortable to go for this. But do I consciously know that I really want to go for this thing? I really want to build something? If the answer is yes, and I hope you take the time to look at what you want and really, really make sure that it's what you want and not what the world around you has told you to want. And if you get really clear on that, then you can know when those uncomfortable feelings come up and be like, I feel you. I hear you, part of myself, younger part of myself trying to help me survive and love me. And we're still gonna step through this discomfort, this unsafe feeling, and we will, through action, time and time again, each time we are going towards something, we will feel that discomfort and we will lovingly step through into it anyway. Because you are worthy of your dreams. But you need to believe it. You need to choose to believe it. You need to consciously choose it again and again and again. Like, what's coming up for me right now is how much I procrastinate on my dreams. I put it off and I put it off and I put it off. And there's the younger parts of me saying, we'll do it soon. We'll do it soon. And because it feels uncomfortable to sit down and focus on something that could amplify me and put me in places that feel very uncomfortable to my system. I want to be a speaker on stages. I want to help people on a world stage, world stages. And I have taken a excellent series of first steps by starting this YouTube channel and showing up every day. But, and there is so much I could be doing, and I've known I could be doing for a long time to help amplify that, and I keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because part of me doesn't feel worthy. It's a subconscious part because I know inherently, consciously, I am worthy. I have so much to share. But those little parts of me who are just trying to love me, who learnt to people please and stick to the shadows and stay out of people's way and um, just basically hide in a book, hide in the library to avoid the bullies, avoid life, escapism, really. Procrastination. That's how she loves me. It's also how she holds me back. And there's always going to be some procrastination. You cannot do all the things, and we have so many things demanding our attention. And there'll be plenty of things we would love to do that we just can't get to. And that's fine. But knowing what you want to the point that you know your priorities for what you want to go for and finding ways to take those uncomfortable actions to actually go for them, to challenge yourself, to take the hand of your inner child and say, hey, I know you're scared. It's okay. We've got this. We're a little bit older than when we created you. And so we've got this. You don't need to worry. And if part of you feels like maybe you don't got this yet, well, that's okay. That's good notice. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to notice. Um, but consider, well, what if you did have the confidence to go for it? Just get curious, or like, and again, if you can't apply it to yourself because that feels too confronting, you're like, well, no, no, my friend Steve could do it, but I can't. Well, why can Steve do it and you can't? Oh, he's just more confident than me. Okay, but how did Steve get more confident? Like, was he always that confident? Maybe he was. Or did he choose to show up as confident? Or did he not make a meaning about being embarrassed when he shows up or in the ways that he does? Like, how could you switch your perspective to maybe take away what is blocking you from showing up with that confidence? How could you move through the discomfort of not feeling confident but doing a scary thing anyway? Being willing to embarrass yourself, but also knowing that you can only be embarrassed if you like let things, external things and internal things cause you embarrassment, like if you just own it within reason, the embarrassment might redden your cheeks in the moment, but you can notice when that embarrassment feeling comes in. Say, I'm not going to let this own me. I'm going to own it. I'm going to own that I just did XYZ that could be conceived as embarrassing. And I'm just going to own that I did it and lean into it. Say, you're welcome, depending on the situation. Move forward and just choose confidence, even if I don't feel it in the moment. And you do that enough times, you'll start to feel confident. So, yeah, anyway, you're inherently worthy of going for your dreams. It's very important that you know that. If there's inner child, any inner teenager, inner adult parts of yourself that are saying otherwise, again, with curiosity, we just talk to them and we ask them how we formed that. How we form to that perception. Because you've got music, you've got art, you've got things to share with the world. But to get it out there, you have to be willing to be embarrassed, even though you now know that you can choose to not feel the embarrassment or, you know, shift your perspective of getting embarrassed. But you have to do something that, and be potentially bad at it for a while. In fact, I dare say you will be bad at it at the start. But you only get good at something by doing it again and again and again. So, will you choose in those small, conscious moments, present moments, to feel the uncomfortable feelings and go for what you want anyway? I really hope you do. Okay. I will leave it there for today. I hope you've had a wonderful day. Night will have a wonderful day wherever you are, whatever time zone. Much love, and I will see you tomorrow.